Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields has just broken the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single game by a quarterback with 178 in an absolutely unbelievable performance against the Miami Dolphins. When you analyze Justin Fields' tape, it is really a tale of two halves, and that's the first half of the season versus the second half of the season. When you analyze Fields in the first month of the year, a lot of it was an absolute disaster. And I think a lot of that was amplified in week 2 of the season in that primetime loss against the Green Bay Packers, where Justin Fields was 7 of 11 for 70 yards with no touchdowns and 1 interception. This game was especially concerning because it didn't seem like the Bears coaching staff even believed in him to throw the ball at all. And he didn't make really any sort of plays in this game, and it kind of continued through the first month of the year, where there's a stat put out there that the Bears had the lowest net passing yards by any NFL team in history since the NFL merger. So the Bears' start to the year was a total disaster on offense, and there were even mock drafts after the first month saying that the Bears were going to take a new quarterback in the draft. So things were not going well for Chicago, and suddenly the questions were not, could Justin Fields become a franchise quarterback? They were more like, is he even a competent starter in this league? Ever since then, and really since that Minnesota Vikings second half, Justin Fields has suddenly turned into a true franchise quarterback, and he's looked like a totally different player since the first month. And I think that kind of starts with his legs, because that's really what his strength is. And if you go back and watch the first month, the Bears did not do nearly enough in the quarterback-designed run game with Luke Getsy as their offensive coordinator. There was not enough read option, enough quarterback draws, enough opportunities for Fields to use his athleticism. One of Justin Fields' biggest flaws is his pocket presence. And I mentioned this in my very first YouTube video when I was breaking down the sophomore year quarterbacks, one of which was Justin Fields. And I mentioned, if Fields is going to be unsuccessful in the NFL, it's probably going to be because of his pocket presence. And pocket presence is not just as a passer stepping up into lanes, knowing when to get rid of the ball, though that is very important. A lot of it is when you have Fields' athleticism, knowing when to run when you're in the pocket. And in the first month of the year, he just wasn't doing that. He was taking tons of unnecessary sacks. The Bears actually led the league in sacks taken, which is largely a quarterback stat because the quarterbacks are responsible for getting rid of the ball. Fields has really lackluster pocket presence, so the combination of the Bears not running enough design runs and Fields having that lackluster pocket presence, taking a lot of sacks, the Bears did not get the most out of Fields' athleticism in the run game that you might have expected. If we look at his passing in the first half of the year, it was another disaster. Through the first month, as I said, they had the lowest net passing yards in league history since the merger. But not only that, it didn't seem like the Bears really trusted Fields to throw the ball. And I guess if you want to win the game, you can mask Fields and try to throw as little as possible because the Bears did have the number 1 rushing attack in the league, so I get it. But maybe the most important question entering this year is Justin Fields a franchise quarterback? You need to figure that out so you can either build around him or move on. But if you're masking Fields and never letting him throw the ball, you're never going to know whether he's good or not. So when he has bad games like against the Packers where he throws the ball 11 times, or bad games against Houston where he's 8 of 17 for 100 yards, no touchdowns and 2 picks, you don't even know whether he's good because you're never giving him a fair chance. And I understand running the ball because the run game is working and the Bears don't have a lot of passing weapons, so I understand. But at some point, you're going to need to let him go. Whereas you fast forward into the last 5 games, it seems like the Bears are kind of slowly letting him off that leash. A large part of that is his play as a runner. The Bears started to call more designed runs, which has totally worked to Justin Fields' strengths. And just some of his rushing performances, he's had 47 yards against the Vikings, 88 yards against the Commanders, 82 yards against the Patriots, 60 yards against the Cowboys, and 178 yards against the Dolphins. So you can totally see just how much he's improved in that area. And a lot of that is his pocket presence. He just hasn't taken nearly as many sacks as he did at the start of the year. And he's stepping up on those third downs, extending the plays with his legs, getting first downs, evading sacks. Those are things that were missing within the first month. As a passer in the last 5 games, he's certainly improved, though I don't think he's quite there yet. He still has some bad tendencies, but he certainly looks different than he did in the first month, and that's just with his comfortability in the Bears scheme. It honestly felt like the Bears struggled to get a first down through the first month. Like, it struggled to get yards. But lately, he's worked well within the Bears scheme. He's not missed those easy rhythm throws. He's hitting the screens. He's hitting the checkdowns. He's actually working between reads, which I think he struggled with as a rookie and early on in the year. So you see the growth and you see the development. And even the raw numbers back up the hypothesis. I mean, if you look at just the last 5 games of the season, Justin Fields has 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions and a 100.4 passer rating. So you see the growth, you see the development. It feels like he's improving, but they don't have necessarily the high volume passing numbers because it's not a very high volume passing offense. This is still a run first offense, which is fine. I mean, Fields adds to that quite a bit. And as I said earlier, maybe it's just because the Bears don't have those weapons, so maybe they don't want to go in the true drop back passing game. But I still think that Fields has some of those weaknesses. I still think he can take too many sacks. He still doesn't work well on his second read. And I don't think his deep ball is where I thought it would be. I mean, he's not a bad deep ball passer. He certainly has that potential. We saw that as a rookie. But a lot of his deep balls have either been overthrown or underthrown, and I just don't think he's quite there yet. But, I mean, judging where he was in the first month versus now is honestly incredible. And we've seen a lot of, like, first into second year breakouts. You look at Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, guys like that. Like, we've seen that. But I can't remember a time that a guy looked this drastically different weeks 1 through 4 versus weeks 5 through 9. Like, I cannot remember, honestly. So to see this from Fields is just absolutely awesome. And it seems like the Bears have their franchise quarterback. So as a runner, as we speak right now, I think he's maybe the best rushing quarterback in the league. I mean, I don't want that to be an overreaction, but like just his combination of athleticism, elusiveness, he's now got the awareness in the pocket, knowing when to run. It feels like he's almost unstoppable, which is crazy to say. And as a passer, like, yeah, he's not there yet. The Bears still run really simple schemes. In offense, it's a lot of screens, a lot of play action, and I get it. But he looks a lot more comfortable now, and he's willing to execute the rhythm of the offense. So certainly he's improving, and based on how he's looked in the first month versus now, I think it gives you a lot of confidence to say when the Bears add weapons, he is going to look a lot better. And when they do add those receivers or add those offensive linemen to help give the offense that extra boost, maybe he will look a lot better in the drop-back passing game. Maybe he will have more volume in those numbers. So I want to hear your opinion because this is a really polarizing topic. I think it's really interesting to see Justin Fields have so much success on not a very good football team, especially in the offensive personnel. So definitely hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. That's the easiest way to support the channel. And follow all my socials, which I'll link down below so we can have a discussion about this. And I will see you in the next one.